Hey out there Akronites, welcome once again to Around Akron with Blue Green. We have a jam-packed episode ahead of us today. We're going to visit a restaurant here, lakeside at Portage Lakes. We're going to meet up with a magazine collage artist who uses magazine strips to create beautiful artwork that has hidden message and its intense beauty. We're going to head over to the University of Akron and check out their esports program where they actually battle with video games. You got to check this one out. And we're going to meet up with some interesting folks over at the Portage Lakes Polar Bear Club who like to jump through the ice into the freezing cold water to raise money for charity and to feel alive. Now to kick this show off, we're here at Portage Lakes at one of the new restaurant Picks. And this place not only has amazing food, but it has a lot of history. Let's go see what this place is all about.
I had a place in Green for almost 10 years. And ever since I've been in Green, I've wanted to be in Portage Lakes. Like Portage Lakes is just such a unique community, such an awesome atmosphere. And I've always wanted to have something on Portage Lakes. So when the building came available, I was just drawn to it. You know, it's got so much potential, and unfortunately, I just feel like it's just been, you know, it just hasn't been done right yet. So I'm hoping that with a little tender love and care, we can make sure that we do it right. We named the building Picks. It's called Picks at Portage Lakes because the original name of the building is Picks. It was owned, it was a boat marina. It was owned by Mr. Picks. And it was a boat marina. It was from what I understand, there was a grocery store here. There was a custard stand here. There was a bait and tackle shop here, a little bit of everything. So Mr. Picks himself is the one who built the building. And we just wanted to go more with the history of it and just kind of let people know, you know, what exactly the building was before we got it and kind of carry on that history with it. So it's a really neat building. It's got almost like a 60s look to it, and just single pane glass windows. Just it's a really unique building. You'd have to see it to understand. But we want to make sure we stuck with the history of the building when we opened up. I've had more people refer to it back from the 60s than anything, which is kind of crazy. You know, they just said it has that 60s look to it. And I don't know quite exactly what they're referring to, but that does make sense. I mean, it does. It's very rounded. Just a lot of windows, a lot of glass block, and so on and so forth. And it gives the building a really unique look. So on the 4th floor, it's banquets where we're at right now. This is our banquet level, so we can handle parties anywhere from 75 to 100 in one room and 25 to 30 in another room. We've had parties as large as 150 guests that just rent the whole top 4th floor. The floor below us, which is considered the 3rd floor, which is street level, is more date night dining is what I like to call it. It's casual, but the menu consists more of like seafood, steaks, that sort of menu. The floor underneath that is the 2nd floor, and that's more of your sports bars. We call that locals, and that's more of just bar food. It's more wings, burgers, that sort of thing. It's got 25 4K HD TVs down there to watch sports on, and the whole level is surrounded by garage doors, so it all opens up to the lake, which is really nice. The outside is 4 levels. One of the levels has a full outside patio bar that's covered, and then the other 3 levels are seating. So there's a lot of outdoor seating, quite a bit of outdoor seating. But so we have the 4 levels. One level sits right on the lake, and then the other 3 levels are kind of tiered right next to the water. So it is really nice. And then they offer different kinds of dining depending on where you sit. If you'd like more of the casual dining with the steaks and seafoods, it's on one level. And if you want more of the sports bar dining, it's on a different level. We've got what we call dock boys, dock girls. So when the boat pulls up, someone will run out, help tie the boat off, clean the trash off the boat, and just help get them into the dock. And then when they get ready to leave, someone's there to help them get off the dock. But yeah, there's quite a bit of lake frontage where it's really nice because you can sit down by the water, pull your boat up, get off your boat, have a bite to eat, and jump right back on the boat, and someone's there to assist you in both. I love it out here. I really do. This is Coventry Township where we're at, but Coventry Township has just been amazing to work with. They've just been so welcoming and just so generous in helping us, you know, just preserve that history and get the building up and just creating a destination more than anything. It's such a great view, it's such a great building, it's such a great piece of property, and it's just, Portage Lakes, the locals have been so welcoming, and the Coventry Township has just been so great to work with. So there's so much opportunity out here, and my advice would be just make sure that you've got a good game plan put together, make sure that you've looked at it from every angle, and just know that it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. One thing about this industry that I'm in is there is no absentee ownership. There is no such thing as the guy that gets to sit in his office and collect money all day while the place runs. You've got to be down there. You'll catch me washing dishes on one night. You'll catch me running food on another night. You'll catch me cleaning toilets. You'll never catch me in this establishment not helping the staff. And I truly believe that that's the key to success, is just, you've got to be in there with them. You've got to be in there with them, you've got to be in there helping, and just kind of taking care of everything. So, and it's a big building, so there's a lot it takes, but definitely, I mean, it's definitely worth it. It's just know that there's going to be some hard work and some dedication involved as well. More than anything, just I'd like people to know that we're here all year round. We don't close for 4 or 5 months during the winter. We're here all year round. We want to be a staple here in Coventry, and we want people to remember us, whether it's fall, winter, or summer. We're not just a summer destination. We try and create a destination all year round.
Next up, we're going to head over to the Fairlawn Bath area and meet up with Deborah Shapiro, a magazine collage artist. And all I can say is you got to see this work to understand its depth and beauty. Let's go see what her work is all about.
About 6 years ago, I had a jaw surgery. And when you have a jaw surgery, it takes about 6 months to recover. And you have to sleep sitting up. And it takes a while. And my mother was giving me magazines just to keep me busy. And as I was looking through the magazines, I thought they were really colorful. And I had not done art in many years, and I thought I'll just kind of play around and use that as my paint and start making art with that. And I probably made about like 5 of them before I realized how much I really enjoyed doing them, and I really kind of hung on to it, and that's what I do. Everything you see in every piece of collage is a piece of paper that came from a magazine. I don't use any ink, I don't use any pen or pencil or anything. Even the tiniest little strip of black or anything you see is all a piece of paper. Well, what I first do, I figure out what my subject's going to be. And a lot of my subjects are just part of my everyday life. I have animals, so you'll see a lot of animals in my work. I meet my friends for coffee or wine or whatever. It's just part of my whole everyday lifestyle. So what I first do is I come up with whatever the subject's going to be, sketch that out, and then I figure out what a color scheme will be for it. And then I go through magazines, look for those specific colors, put them all into piles, and then once I get started, I have to kind of work from my background to my foreground, because I want the paper to overlap in such a way so the background's not overlapping on a piece that's on the foreground. Because even though it's really subtle, I think you could see all that. My past experience as a videographer has really influenced my artwork now. First of all, I think about lighting my subject. So a lot of people point out that my artwork looks almost like 3D. And I think the reason of that is whenever I do a subject, let's say it's a rooster, I'll think about like how I would light it in the video world and think about where the shadows would fall, where the highlights would be. Because I used to do a lot of like sit-down interviews like you would see like on 60 Minutes. And whenever you light somebody when they're sitting down, you look to see where they're, like if they're wearing glasses, if they have any little shadows, if there's a hot spot, is there a dark spot, where the shadows fall. So I think about that when I do my subjects, and I try to see like where I think the shadows would fall and so forth. And that helps me create them to look more like 3D-ish to them. And then it's really just putting together the story, trying to figure out what words, anything that could kind of fit in there, get your eyes to flow from one thing to another thing. So I think the video experience is all like plays into my artwork. I don't always add messages to all my artwork, but whenever I can, I do, and I like to tell a story within the artwork. So if I find some words that could relate to whatever I'm trying to tell the story of, I will kind of hide that throughout the artwork. From my previous life, being a videographer, I always had to tell stories. So a lot of times I would put together like a 2-3 minute story. And I think that comes through in my artwork because I do like to kind of have a story to it. It kind of helps me as I'm creating it. And it just, I think gives it another layer of interest. Because that's one thing with my artwork. If you're like 10 feet away, you kind of just see the subject. When you get closer, you start seeing all kind of little stuff in there. And then whenever I could add some words that even enhance the story, I do that again. So I think there's like several different layers to my artwork. But I have a couple guitar ones, and they each have a story. Like one is based on Jimi Hendrix. So the background has like flames in the background of it. He's born in 1942, which you will see in there. And then I have a bunch of song titles throughout it that are all songs that are played on a Stratocaster, what he used to play. But 3 of them are his, and I wrote them upside down because he would play his guitar upside down. So there's all kind of little stories in all my artwork. My favorite magazines are mostly good quality magazines. They have to be like a good thicker paper. So I like a lot of fashion magazines because within all the clothes and everything, there's so many different like textures that you see in there and colors. So those are always fun to have. And I kind of look like for Elle, that's a good one. Bazaar is a good one. I also like magazines like Architect Digest. I like to have a variety of things. You know, maybe you see motorcycle parts, maybe you see a dress. I think it's fun to see all the different subjects because I think that's what people like, and what makes it interesting is like once you get up close, you start recognizing little things within the artwork that you don't see from a distance. So I like to have a variety of magazines, but mostly the biggest thing for me is probably a good quality paper. When I was doing video, I did a lot of marketing videos, so I learned a lot from all the marketing people, kind of how they do their job. So I employ that into my social media, into my website. You know, I try to keep everything updated. I need to get better at like Instagram and Facebook and all that. But I know the more you post, the more people start following you and so forth. And I think really for any artist, just getting your name out there, there's so many wonderful artists in this area that just blow me away with their talent. But a lot of people don't know about them, you know, and they shy away from social media. But I think that's really kind of like, right now, that's what you need to do. You need to tell the world this is what you do and show everybody.
Next up, we're going to go down to the University of Akron and meet up with one of their newest teams, the esports team. What's that? They play video games that compete with other collegiate level teams across the nation. Let's go see what this place is all about.
Esports is the use of electronic systems to test one's skills against the live human opponents. So in the same way that when a lot of people were children, maybe they tested their skills in basketball against other kids in their neighborhood, now the internet allows young people across the country to test their skills against millions of other people in these online games. So for people who are tremendously skilled at them and who are very competitive, there's a huge interest in being able to get online, get out there and start, you know, testing your skills in some of these competitions.
I played varsity soccer in high school, and so we had practice every day of the week and went to practice, did our drills, and I've had that experience. And so coming into this esports program for the Overwatch team specifically and starting practice was a very new experience because unlike sports, traditional sports, you have a lot more drills and things that you do kind of that aren't an entire game or a scrimmage. The practice for our esports teams is almost entirely scrimmages against other teams, and so that has been a really fun experience actually because it means you get to play the game a lot more. But it also turns the video game from being just something that you do for fun to something that you're actually honing your craft, trying to make sure that you are the best you can be so that you can compete at the highest level, which has been really fun to get to experience.
The primary means of competing is online. So we will use an online tournament platform to find out who our opponent is, and we'll compete against them in the game on a weekly basis. So we'll have a different opponent each week through the regular season, and every, let's say, Saturday at 3, our team will meet in an online lobby and connect to all of the players from the other team and start a match together, and then we report the scores to the tournament organizer. A lot of these competitions have scholarship prize pools. In fact, our varsity Rocket League team just won nationals 2 weeks ago, and they're going to be taking home $15,000 in scholarship prizing. But in the professional realm, that's just as true, where we have the Fortnite world champion, Kyle Deersdorf. He won $3 million at the World Cup in New York this summer. So there's definitely an opportunity to make money there, and then sometimes it does turn into those influencer opportunities where you'll have the best gamers around having their own YouTube channels, live streaming their gameplay, and making some income that way. We have 3 distinct programs here at the university. The first is our varsity esports program, then we have a club esports program, and then a recreational gaming program. Each of them can be compared to some of the standard recreational offerings that already exist in sports on campus. So for the varsity esports level, we offer scholarships just like in traditional athletics for students to represent the university in intercollegiate competition and all of the most popular games. Each of our students are on scholarships of at least $1,000, ranging up to $5,000 in some cases, and they compete. They have regular practice times, they have minimum GPA requirements, workout standards, everything that you would expect from a varsity athletics team. But at the same time, we also have club esports programs. So you can form a club team for competition in your favorite game if you have enough players to make a team, just like you could for a club sport. And so there are a lot of students that participate. We have about 800 students that are participating in those esports clubs. And then just like you could go to the rec to, work out and train your skills, we offer recreational gaming opportunities for students who maybe want to play casually, maybe they want to play a single player game, but they want to do it in a shared space with other people who share their interests. We have the equipment and the games available for them to come out, come to our facilities, get to know some folks, and try that out.
There's a little bit of physical fatigue, mouse hand, things like that, but nowhere near the level of mental fatigue that we go through. We just actually had a tournament a couple weeks ago. The Overwatch team went to down in Columbus, and we played for, I believe, 10 hours or so. And these are high-level games. We're competing. These are single elimination brackets. If we lose, we're done. High stress, high-level games. And it takes a toll. By the end of the day, you kind of just want to lay down and go to sleep, which is what I think a lot of us did on the ride home. And it's been really cool to see the team learn how to deal with that mental fatigue from when we started, where we kind of get tired or maybe we're losing and not going that great, and we get a little upset, to where we are now and learning how to kind of control our mental processes, how to calm ourselves down, bring us back to the spot we need to compete, has been a really good learning experience, I think, for all of us. It's no longer just kind of, someone sitting in their basement playing video games, drinking Mountain Dew or anything like that. It's really a productive, human enriching thing that we're doing here. We're learning leadership skills, we're learning teamwork skills, we're learning communication skills, while also at the same time helping to pay for our schoolwork here. It's pretty amazing, actually, that we're able to take this thing that we had so much fun with and then turn it into something that's so positive for our life, that just take a second look, maybe see all the good things that are coming out of esports. It's worth your time.
The reality is gamers are going to play these games whether we like it or not. And if you're on a college campus and you're in a completely new community, a lot of times you may opt to play at home in your dorm, and the internet's going to connect you to an online community, but it won't necessarily connect you to your campus community. And that's why physical on-campus gaming communities like these are really important, because it's a great way to meet other people who share your passion and get introduced to these social support networks and other students who like doing what you do.
Next up, we're going to meet up with the Portage Lakes Polar Bear Club and talk about their event where they cut a hole in the ice and they have people jump into the freezing cold water to raise money for charity. And on a side note, right behind me here is where it all began. Let's go see what the Portage Lakes Polar Bear Club is all about.
What I tell people is when you jump into the lake, yes, it's cold, but your body takes over for you. Your body's number one goal is to get out of the water.
The endorphins and the rush is so amazing that they're in no hurry to get to that changing tent. There are heated tents for men and women that are 70 degrees in there, and a lot of people run right to the tent and change their clothes. Others will hang out and they realize I'm not really that cold. The ice was cold, but my body has adjusted to that, and I think I'm going to hang out in my bathing suit or my tutu for a while. And it's a very strange feeling, but you get this euphoric feeling for almost the rest of the day. It's a great feeling you have for a long time.
Your body doesn't tighten up to the point where you can't move. Your heart doesn't stop. 17 years, we've had no major injuries. We have medical professionals on site, there's firefighters in the water, and they have never had to perform any kind of serious rescues or anything like that, because while it is cold, it's not dangerously health risk, or we wouldn't be doing it. So it's safe to jump in the water. We check the depths. You can jump in, it's gonna be about waist deep for most people. There's shallow areas, and we make sure that it's good to go for everybody. And then we always have a heated changing tent. So that's everyone's goal, is to get out and then get to the heated changing tent. Kelly, who is the founder of it, started between a conversation with Kelly and his neighbor Jeff and Debbie during a holiday party.
As we had more and more Christmas cheer, Kelly got an idea to, let's go out, cut a little hole in the ice, and jump in and have an old-fashioned polar bear jump. And I thought about that for a second, and I said, that's a good idea, but maybe not tonight. About a week later, he came over with a poster that he had written and said, how about if we do it for charity? How about we invite our neighbors and friends over? Maybe they'll jump, they'll give us some money, we'll give it to a charity. I said, now that's a great idea. The first February we did it was 2004. We had 75 people actually sign up to jump. It was between our two houses off of our docks. And we had about 100 people show up. It was very crude and very rudimentary. We had no food. We had no expectations. We just jumped. And Kelly's garage was the men's changing room, and my garage was the women's changing room. It was very crude. But everybody had a great time, and we raised $13,000 for Children's Hospital. We decided to do it again the next year. We had over 100 jumpers, and 200 or 300 people came.
And it started to grow from there. Grew to the point where they couldn't physically hold it at their house anymore because of the amount of people showing up. Parking was an issue. Logistics were an issue.
We moved it to Portage Lakes State Park. The park department was very nice to give us a boat ramp situation where there was a lot more parking and a nice dock that went out into the water. Made it easy for us to cut ice if it was frozen. Skip ahead several years, we had it at the boat ramp. We outgrew that very quickly. And we are now and finally at our final home, which is the State Beach at Portage Lakes State Park. Parking for over 1,000 cars, and it's a large stretch of beach if you've ever been out there. It's a beautiful, beautiful facility, and we are lucky enough to be able to have it on the beach every year.
Our purpose is to raise money for charity, and that charity switches every year. Every other year, it's the Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank, and the years in between, we've started doing the Ronald McDonald House of Akron, because the dollars that we raise stay local and have a huge impact with those two organizations. We're also including the Akron Rotary Camp, and they are a camp on Portage Lakes for individuals with different types of disabilities, and they give them a chance to experience summer camp just like any other child would. The last couple of years, we've cleared $100,000. This last year, we came real close to $150,000, and that's in the matter of 2 hours. There's not many organizations that can raise $100,000 in 2 hours, and we're proud to be one of those organizations that's able to do that and give back. We donate almost all the money we raise. We have very low overhead. It's mostly done by volunteers. We have amazing volunteers that help put the event together, a huge team of volunteers. And so we don't keep any of that money. We donate that money right back to the organizations that we're raising it for.
It's a very safe event. The police are always there. The fire department, New Franklin Fire Department, EMS is there. There's always a doctor on hand. Nothing has ever happened bad to anyone. People who jump in immediately, when they come out, My DJ tent is right there on the beach. I ask them, how was it? And they go, it's great, I'm coming back. So nobody has a bad time. Everybody has a wonderful time, whether they jump once or 17 times. Everybody is glad that they jumped.
Thank you once again for watching this episode of Around Akron with Blue Green. Now, if you want to drop me a line, send me an email, or maybe send me a story idea, you can go to www.aroundakronwithbluegreen.com and send me an email, or you can catch me on Instagram and on Facebook. Thanks, and have an amazing day. Hey out there, Akronites, 1, 2, 3, ABC. Hey out there, Akronites, good? Yep. Okay. Hey out there, Akronites, welcome to another episode. We're going to visit a restaurant here on the lake. Oh, thanks. Nice one. Sound like a vacuum cleaner. We're going to visit a lake. We're going to visit a lake. See, 1, 2, 3, good to go? Sounding good, looking good? Okay. Next up, we're going to head over to the University of Akron to talk about one of their newest sports programs. Thank you once again for watching this episode of Around Akron with Blue Green. I close my eyes and thank you. Thank you and have an amazing day. I think we're good.
Good?
Yeah.